What's going on, NinBuzz? Welcome to the 4th week of Community Choice. I'm your host, RedFalconGames, and I just finished tallying up the votes. Boy, did we get a bunch of them. I hope this week will be just as successful as the last week. So the question was, what's your favorite Pokemon generation? And here is the top 5. In 5th was the 4th generation. Now the 4th generation is alright. I mean, I'm not the biggest fan of the 4th generation, to be honest, so I'm kind of glad it didn't go that high. One of the big additions to the 4th generation was adding Wi-Fi to the game, which was pretty cool, but I feel like they could have executed it a lot better. It almost seems like they didn't work hard on this generation. So I can pretty much agree with 4th generation in last place. In 4th was the brand new 5th generation. Now that is still fresh in our minds. I just remember playing that game the other day, so I can see why a good amount of people voted for it, but it was still pretty far behind the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd generation. Just because I guess the first 3 generations are more nostalgic for some people. I mean, the DS ones aren't that important to everyone. I know they didn't grow up with these games. They are pretty good, but I do agree the advanced games and the Game Boy Color games are better than the DS ones. In 3rd place was the start of it all, the 1st generation. Now I was surprised to see that this was in 3rd place. I thought it was going to be in 1st or 2nd. To be honest, I just can't really relate with this. 1st generation was what I really grew up with. I played Pokemon Yellow a lot, so that would be probably number 1 for me. But I do agree that there are some awesome features in the 2nd and 3rd generation that the 1st didn't have, thus making it not as good of a game. But that's just me being nostalgic. I know this question is very difficult, just because you have to decide whether you're going with what you grew up with or what's the best game, so it's a really tough question. And now the runner-up for NinBuzz's favorite Pokemon generation is the 2nd generation and Johto. This was an awesome game. It added so much that the 1st generation didn't have, and the Pokemon they added were very good. I know a lot of people were nervous after the 1st generation. They were like, I mean, can you top this? But they did a great job with topping the 1st generation. It was an awesome game to play. I love it. So now, no need for a drum roll. You guys know who won it. The 3rd generation, including Ruby, Sapphire, Emerald, Fire Red, and Leaf Green. Fire Red is my favorite Pokemon game, so I do really like the 3rd generation. I'm happy with that choice. They made so many improvements from the 2nd generation to put it on a Game Boy Advance. Awesome pick at number 1, everyone. So now, for this week's question, here it is. What's your favorite track in Mario Kart Wii? And before you type it, guys, I made the decision to disclude Rainbow Road, for the obvious reason that Rainbow Road is a lot of people's favorite track, so I want to make it more of a competition between other tracks. So you can vote for any other track in Mario Kart Wii, including the retro ones, just not Rainbow Road. Last week we got over 1,700 comments, so my goal for this week is 2,000. I really think we can do that. That would be awesome if we can get 2,000 comments. But other than that, guys, give this video a like if you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next week.